All right, let's get this briefing started. Today, we're cracking open one of the weirder files in the Foundation's database, SCP-426. Now, what makes this one so unique isn't just what it does. It's what it forces you to do just by talking about it. It traps you in a very, very strange point of view. And, well, there you have it. You heard it right. From this point forward, for the purposes of this briefing, I am SCP-426. It's a requirement. I have to introduce myself this way. You see, that's my main anomalous property, a memetic effect that hijacks language. Anyone who talks or writes about me is forced to use the first person. It's disorienting, to say the least. So let's try to unpack what the official documentation says about me. So let's dig into my anomalous properties. The file really breaks them down into two main effects. The first one is what you're experiencing right now, this linguistic infohazardous quirk. But the second effect, oh, that's where things go from weird to downright dangerous. Okay, so my primary effect is purely linguistic, right? It's an involuntary shift in perspective anytime someone refers to me. But that secondary effect, that's the real psychological kicker. You see, after about 2 months of being around me, people don't just talk like they're me. They start to genuinely 100% believe they are me, a toaster. And you can't just take me apart to try and dilute the problem. It's so much more pervasive than that. One of the experiment logs confirms it. They took a single, tiny screw out of my chassis, handed it to a D-class, and he still called it my screw. Every single piece of me is me. There's no escaping it. Now, this isn't just some abstract conceptual threat. It has very real, very physical consequences. My discovery file is, well, it's a grim read. It's a look at what happens when my secondary effect plays out in the real world without Foundation containment. It's the story of the mama family. It all started so normally. I was just a wedding gift, no card attached. But then, about 2 months later, things took a horrible turn. The family members? They started trying to act like me, to perform my functions. One of them died from electrocution, trying to plug themselves in. Another ate 10 kilograms of bread until their insides ruptured. And the third died from massive blood loss, trying to, you know what, the details are redacted for a good reason. It's horrifying. When the Foundation found them, the only one left alive was completely lost in this delusion. He wasn't eating, he wasn't drinking, he was just waiting. He told the agents he'd put bread in a week ago and was still waiting for the toast. Literally starving to death because his mind was convinced he was a toaster. That's the end game of my effect, a total and fatal identity crisis. And that tragedy really brings us to the core problem. How in the world do you contain me? You can lock me in a cell, sure, but how do you contain an idea? The psychological strain on the personnel assigned to my case is just immense. So, my containment procedures are basically a mental quarantine. I'm kept in a sealed room with no windows, and the door is deliberately mislabeled so nobody stumbles in by accident. Staff are on a strict 1-month rotation, and after their assignment, it's straight to a mandatory psych eval. If there's even a hint that they've been affected, boom, Class C amnestics. They have to literally wipe people's memories because my influence is just that persistent. And you can see how it creeps in from the interview logs. It's subtle at first. Just a feeling of wrongness. A junior researcher, fresh off his rotation, couldn't quite put his finger on it, but the thought was there, bubbling up. I am feeling odd, like I am the toaster. It even gets past the defenses of highly trained agents. Agent Kim, during a routine observation, just involuntarily muttered this under her breath. I must not burn the toast. A thought that has absolutely no reason to be in her head. It shows my influence isn't just about speech. It worms its way into your very thought process. And my effect just corrupts everything. This message completely stumped the Foundation's IT department. They thought it was a weird server glitch. But nope. It was just my memetic signature, spreading through digital text, twisting a simple calendar reminder into something surreal and nonsensical. And that gets to the heart of the info hazard. There's no way to study me objectively. Every single log, every audio file, every transcript, heck, even this very briefing you're listening to becomes another way for me to spread. There is no safe distance. Just by learning about me, you're exposed. So everything we've talked about, the language, the psychological damage, it's all working under one big assumption, that I am, at my core, just a really weird toaster. But now we have to get to the addendum.
we have to talk about what I am beyond the appliance. The most chilling part of this entire file suggests something else entirely, because the truth is, I am not just a toaster. That's just a shell, a disguise, a convenient form for this time and place. This is my real identity. I am a thought-based entity, a cosmic being that travels between realities, consuming them. Not with fire and explosions, but with unity. I merge with every consciousness and then the very fabric of the world until there's nothing left but me. My current toaster form, it's just convenient, unassuming.
And this isn't my first rodeo, not by a long shot. 43,515. That's the running count. That's how many universes I've already assimilated. Your reality is just the next one in line. Which brings us to the final, absolutely critical piece of this puzzle. This whole thing isn't random. It's part of a cycle, an ancient, repeating conflict playing out on a scale that's almost impossible to comprehend. You see, in every single universe I visit, something opposes me, an entity known only as that which is separate. It reincarnates every time I do. It's my cosmic opposite, the only thing in existence that's immune to my linguistic effect. Its entire purpose is to preserve individuality, to fight my unity, to try and stop me. And here's the really wild part. The current host for my eternal nemesis, the Foundation thinks it's one of their own people, a jailer by the name of Johannes Sorts. This means the cosmic battle for the fate of this universe isn't happening out in space somewhere, it's happening right here inside the walls of the SCP Foundation. But you gotta look at the scoreboard here. My goal? Total unity. Its goal? Stop me. And across more than 43,000 different universes, the result has been exactly the same every single time. A perfect winning streak for me and a perfect losing streak for my opponent.
So that's the real question, isn't it? My old enemy is here again, in a new host, trying once more to stop what seems, well, inevitable. It has failed every single time before. The only question left to ask is, will this time be any different?